Hello there, Brian of London back in my bomb shelter in the sky. So this morning I was on I-24 News again. It's always very, very, very tight there on time. I'm always feeling very pressured. One thing I want to clear up. Okay, I mentioned Theresa May banning people for talking honestly about Islam. Actually, Theresa May, the prospective Conservative Party leader, the number one candidate at the moment, she did ban Robert Spencer and Pamela Geller, two bloggers from America, for talking honestly about Islam. She denied them entry to the UK. That was 2 years after a different Home Secretary, Jacqueline Smith from the Labour Party, she denied Geert Wilders, and that had then been challenged in the High Court. And owing to the fact that he was a very prominent MP in Holland, another EU country, that ban was overturned and Geert Wilders eventually did come to the UK and spoke in Parliament. It was Theresa May, a couple of years later, who carried on with the same policy of appeasing Sharia law and Sharia blasphemy law by denying Robert Spencer and Pamela Geller entry. And that was the point I was trying to make. There's another part, and I'll expand with more time that I have now. Listening to the news last night on the BBC World Service, they were covering the three suicide bombings on one day in Saudi Arabia. And they called Medina, the city in which one of the bombings took place, the Holy City.
Reports from the Holy City of Medina.
Just the Holy City. Not the Holy City for Islam or a Holy City for Islam. No, the Holy City. They do not call Jerusalem even the Holy City, which, to be brutally honest, for more of the world's population, Jerusalem is. It's the Holy City for Christians and for Jews. The Muslims claim it's their holy city too. They're overrun. This is the dimification of the BBC. And the bigger point that I can make is that the Brexit vote, a lot of people are starting to feel this, and they don't want to be led by the people who bow down before Islam with every utterance they make. Theresa May very recently has praised the operation of Sharia courts in the UK. She says, people like them. Well, I'll tell you which people like them. The Muslim men, because women are just second class. They're worth half the testimony of a man. This is Muslim women. They're cut out of inheritance. They get half the inheritance of a male sibling. All sorts of other discriminatory practices. And that's before you even get to how Sharia treats non-Muslims. But one would hope that Sharia courts in the UK don't get to talk much about non-Muslims. That's what's going on in England, and that's part of the 17.4 million people. I don't know how much. That's an underlying, it's a gut feeling that we don't trust the BBC because they lie. The second story or the third story on this BBC World Service broadcast, another unbelievable story. Bangladesh, one of the terrorists who hacked people to death with machetes in a restaurant in Bangladesh. His father is a prominent politician, and the BBC interview him, and they broadcast this in, and he can't understand how his son got radicalized. And then he says he lived 25 feet from the mosque, and he started going to the mosque and praying 5 times a day when he was a little child with his grandfather, and that there are no books in his house that could have led to radicalization. Hello! The Quran, the Hadith, biography of Muhammad is what ISIS is using to radicalize his son. And the BBC are putting this out as if it just doesn't exist. But the people know that it's real, and the people know that this works, and that's why they distrust them. Those are some of the points that I could have made on I-24, but not in the 30 seconds that I get each time. Hey, perhaps one day I'll get my own show like Avi Kaufman of 972. How do you think I go about doing that? This has been Brian of London in my bomb shelter in the sky. Check out Israeli Cool for all my writings and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter, Brian of London. All right, bye-bye.